Okay, so I'm going to take this engine back apart. I had it apart, and I'm going to show you some of the things going on here with it. This is, of course, Briggs Stratton MAX. There are two holes on each side of the flywheel. You just pop them off like that. I use my deck down there to hold on to the parts. This part covers the flywheel, called the finger guard, just pulls right off. As you can see, familiar sight, that's actually an old Briggs & Stratton classic engine type shroud under there. I'm going to take this 5/16 for the 3 bolts that hold the shroud on the engine. So there's one right here. One over here. And one far back there. All 3 of those come straight out. And pull off. Can't lift the cover off yet because there's another bolt down in here. If you can see, it's right in there. Try to get closer so you can see. It's kind of right there. See, I kind of unscrew it. I loosened it a little bit beforehand. So I'm going to pull that out. Alright, shroud and all the bolts removed. Just lift the cover off and turn it off to the side like that. And as you can see, I can check our compression. Before I do that, of course, I have the spark plug wire removed and off to the side so it doesn't try to start. There's good compression. I'm going to be cleaning this up a little bit. I'm going to be using this cloth here, generally used for guns, that has a silicone type stuff on it. I'm going to just rub this until it's shiny. Not just does it make things shiny, though, it provides sort of a rust resistance to it, so it doesn't rust out. Rust is a major enemy, especially to stuff like this. The purpose of this video mostly is just to show you some of the things that I'm going to be doing to this thing in future videos. And that's going to be to, like, show you a bit about the Max engines, and other parts of the machine. Let's first look up here. This is the dead man control system. Of course, I disabled the spring on it. This is the first problem I've got to work with. This basically does 2 things. 1, it stops the engine, and 2, it applies a brake shoe to the flywheel, so the flywheel doesn't turn. Because you see, if I move it forward like that, it turns freely. If I move it back like that, it applies brake shoes to the flywheel, and the flywheel does not turn. It has a spring on here that pulls it back. However, my problem isn't the spring or anything else, it's this cable. The cable right here is what they call the zone control cable. It's the cable that runs from the handlebars up there to that right over there. And when you release the handlebars, it's supposed to pull this thing smoothly, but I can't even pull it smoothly at all. I've been having to try and do this crazy crap with it, like put my foot down on it and pull it, and it won't freaking pull. So that's one of the things. Another thing I'll show you, this is a Max series engine. It has the fuel shutoff valve over here. You have a paper cartridge type filter element, and there's a Walbro carb. Got a motorcycle going past. Basically, these engines are basically a Briggs & Stratton classic with a Walbro carb instead of a Chocomatic or a Pulsajet or VacuJet or a Pulsa Prime. Instead, it's a what they call a Walbro, which has a little float bowl in it and everything. It's kind of like Lawn Boy carbs. Throttle control cable, of course, that's working nice and good, like it should. So now I got the top off the engine. Here's some nasty things I gotta deal with. There's dirt buildup inside the engine block right here. All this is going to prevent the engine from having proper cooling. Look at all that shit that was caught up in the cooling fins. Holy cow. So we got all that mess in there. So I'm going to clean out the cooling fins, and I get to show you how the dead man control switch works on one of these things. So, first off, that's the starter ratchet. That basically turns that. But how this works is this pushes forward on a switch, a wire that runs over here to the magneto to cut off spark from the engine. And at the same time, as you can see right over here, there's a brake shoe that clamps up against the side of the flywheel to stop it within 3 seconds. So that's how the whole thing works. I'm going to do some cleaning out in here, and then I'll show you the end result.